Able to waste the whole time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotam Devim Saraswati Vatsat Tantu Jaya Mudivayat Astapayesha Bhadesu Nityam Bhagavataseva Bhagavati Uttama Sloka Bhakti Bhavati Nainsiku. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 5, Text 37. Title of this chapter is Narada Muni Cursed by Prajapati Daksha. Narada Muni Cursed by Prajapati Daksha. Text 37. Vines Tribhi Amuktanam Amimam Sita Kamanam Vigata Shreyasa Papa Lokaya Ubhayo Kritaha Rines Tribhi Amuktanam Amimam Sita Karmanam Vigata Shreyasa Papa Lokaya Ubhayo Kritaha. Can someone try? Ladies, so word for word translation, then translation and proper by divine grace is confirmed Acharya. Srila Bhajana Vrinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. At least for Prabhupada, we should endeavor to give Caesar what is due for Caesar. He made this whole family for all of us. So, at least if we aim just of someone else, for Prabhupada, what do we lose to praise him? Srila Prabhupada Ki. Thank you. So word for word translation, Rene from the depths, Tribu, Tre, Amuktanam, of persons not freed, Amimam Sita, not considering, Karmanam, the part of duty, Vigataha, ruin, Shreyasaha, of the part of good fortune, Papa, O most sinful, Narada Muni, Lokayo of the worlds, O Bayo, both, Kritaha, done. Translation. Prajapati Daksha said, my sons were not at all freed from their 3 debts. Indeed, they did not properly consider their obligations. O Nadamuni, O personality of sinful action, you have obstructed their progress toward good fortune in this world and the next, because they are still indebted to the saintly persons, the demigods, and their father. Please kindly responsibly repeat. Prajapati Daksha said, my sons were not at all freed from their 3 debts. Indeed, they did not properly consider their obligations. O Nadamuni, O personality of sinful action, you have obstructed their progress toward good fortune in this world and the next, because they are still indebted to the saintly persons, the demigods, and their father. Purport. As soon as the Brahmana takes bath, he assumes 3 kinds of debts. Debts to great saints, debts to the demigods, and debts to his father. The son of a Brahmana must undergo celibacy, brahmacharya, to clear his debts to the saintly persons. He must perform ritualistic ceremonies to clear his debts to the demigods. And he must beget children to become free from his debt to his father. Prajapati Daksha argued that although the renounced order is recommended for liberation, one cannot attain liberation unless one fulfills his obligation to the demigods, the saints, and his father. Since Daksha's sons have not liberated themselves from these 3 debts, how could Nada Muni have led them to the renounced order of life? Apparently, Prajapati Daksha did not know the final decision of the Shastras. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, text 41. Devashi bhutapta rinam pitrinam nakinkaro nayam rinicha rajan savatmanaya sanam saranyam gato mukundam pariritya katam. Everyone is indebted to the demigods, the living entities in general, to his family, to the Peters, and so on. But if one fully surrenders to Krishna, Mukunda, who can give one liberation, even if one performs no judges, one is free from all debts. Even if one does not repay his debts, he is free from all debts if he renounces the material world for the sake of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose lotus feet are the shelter of everyone. This is the verdict of the Shastra. Therefore, Nada Muni was completely right in instructing the sons of Prajapati Daksha to renounce this material world immediately and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unfortunately, Prajapati Daksha, the father of Haryasvas and Savalasvas, did not understand the great service rendered by Nada Muni. Daksha therefore addressed him as Papa, the personality of sinful activities, and Asadu, a non-saintly person. Since Nada Muni was a great saint and Vaishnava, he tolerated all sorts of accusations from Prajapati Daksha. He merely performed his duty as a Vaishnava by delivering all the sons of Prajapati Daksha and enabling them to return home back to Godhead. Om Vyanatimurandasya Janajana Salakaya Saksur Militam Jena Titsmai Sri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manodistam Sthafitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadanyam Bhadatiswa Padantikam Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodita Buddhaya Puspavanto Chitta Chandu Tamand Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Sivasadi Sagora Bhaktabundu Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangim Bhagavatam Gurum Yakripa Tamaham Bande Si Gurum Vinataram Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutali Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Bhani Pacharine Nirvisesa Singh Bhari Pasapchadi Satari Pancha Kalpatari Gacha Kripasun Vyaya Vacha Patitanam Pavanidyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo. So this is a very interesting text because it is bringing to bear the challenges of the preacher. The preacher does have endogenous and exogenous challenges facing their lives every day. And because in this world there are so many neo-dakshas, people with daksha mentality, daksha bhav, people who are always cursing the preachers, people who are not willing to release their children to be commissioned in the army of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if you try to do that, they may incarcerate you, they may put you to jail. Daksha is even good. Modern challenges of the preacher, we can't even fathom because sometimes the preacher is thrown into jail for trying to liberate people, for trying to reclaim souls back to God. Therefore, Daksha, his case is a little bit, it's a minor. Unless he didn't try to put murder into jail, he just cursed him. This is called emotional abuse, a gross emotional abuse. And the preachers, they go out every day, we experience this emotional abuse. I remember one day when I was preaching in Africa, I had just joined and there was this new Brahmana who was taking me out on Sankirtan. He was also teaching me Pujari work. And so we went out on Sankirtan one day and he was giving a book to one military officer in a car park. And I was just observing. And the military guy just looked at him and then gave him a heavy dirty slap. No word. And this devotee fell down. He fell down and then he got up. And then he just thanked him. Thank you, sir. So, there are so many horrible situations that the preacher has to face. Look at the case of Lord Nityananda. We're trying to deliver Jagai Madai. He was hit on the head. That is a case of assault, occasioning harm. Of course, depending on how the modern police will frame the allegation, they could even say attempted murder. But Lord Nityananda did not give up the preaching. The Lord Chaitanya was so infuriated that he came personally to annihilate Jagai Madai. But Lord Nityananda said, see, in Kali Yoga, everyone is virtually like Jagai Madai. So if you have to kill people, annihilate people, then you practically will annihilate everyone. And this is not your time. Maybe when you come as Kalki, you can try to annihilate everyone. But this time around, you have to deliver. You are Prema, Purusottama. You have to deliver, Krishna Prema. So in this way, Nityananda was able to pacify Lord Chaitanya. So The bottom line is that even the devotee is more compassionate than Lord Krishna. And therefore, when we're dealing with preachers, we're dealing with devotees, we have to be very, very meticulous and careful. We may hurt Krishna, we may offend Krishna, we may even commit, the mad elephant offense. But if we are not careful, we persist this type of attitude towards the devotee, we will kill our devotional creeper. And therefore there is every need for us to exercise some self-restraint. We do have this Daksha Bhava. All of us, we have the Daksha Bhava. Envy. Very dominant in our lives. You curse someone because you're blessing him, because you love him? No. You want him exterminated, you want him dead or alive. And because you can't carry a gun and kill him, so you curse him. You wish someone bad, you're blessing him? No. Of course, we may say in Kali Yoga, just by wishing something, you're not culpable. But from wishing, because in Bhagavad Gita 2:62, Lord Krishna mentions that the whole process, whether it is a downfall or it is a rise, it begins with dhyata, contemplation. There's a high potency in contemplation. In fact, there are some living entities, some embodied souls, that you simply use contemplation to change the physical forms. So do not underrate the power of thinking. So here we find a typical example of how Narada Muni, keep in mind, in the Trilokya Upanishad, Lord Brahma himself addressed Narada Muni as Putras Sisters, Tapoja, the best of sons, epitomized by Tapa. And what is that Tapa? Going around preaching, traveling from one universe to the other, from one planet to the other, preaching. And sometimes I'm in the airplane, and one of the things that I always reflect is, this is the worst type of business to get involved in. Because you don't want to eat meat. You don't want to even go to a place where they're selling meat. But for instance, if you bought an airplane from Kenya to India, the question is, the air mistresses, they come to ask, you take veg or you take non-veg? Now, if you bought a plane from, for instance, I remember vividly when I bought a plane from Nigeria to Kenya, and the question is, it's not about veg or non-veg. Do you eat meat or fish? And when they start eating, the whole place is smelling. It's smelling. What could be more of a pollution? This is austerity. Sometimes people think, he's just traveling around, traveling all over the world, he's enjoying so much. You try it and see. For 6 months, constantly traveling. And if you don't break down and die, then you just thank your God. So, the preachers the modern preacher, everyone has got to share these curse of Narada Muni. We should not expect to be pampered on the back. Oh, Prabhu, which is a wonderful preacher. You shouldn't expect the temple commander, the temple president, or anybody around to come and pamper us. Or you do such a wonderful service. Although we are supposed to do that as a motivation. A motivator. A leader is a motivator and an inspirator. So we're supposed to motivate our devotees to become focused and sustained in their preaching. Because they do experience challenges. If you try to preach, I remember also some time back we were trying to develop a project, a temple project, and we engaged some live members to go about donations. And this guy was a financial director of a group of companies. So he said he knows all the financial directors of other groups of companies that he will go to meet. So we assigned him, all right, go help out. He went out one day, just one day he came back and said, Vasudev, I cannot go to meet anybody anymore. he felt humiliated because sometimes people don't see the rigor, the difficulties, the challenges in being a preacher, even in begging, in soliciting for funds for some project. This is all part of the preaching. This is when you can deflate your false ego. So, there are different challenges, like I mentioned. And the important thing is, even modern times, people are not ready to release their children to become divorced. They may even hear that, when your child becomes a pure devotee, he will devote 10 generations after him and before him. And even after hearing, even after seeing people doing that, the Bhagavatam says, Pashyana Pina Pashyata, even after seeing, even after hearing. No, the virus of attachment is eating so much deep into the bone marrow, not just inside the blood, in the marrow. We've been told, hey, even your children, they're not your properties, they're not yours, you're just the caretaker. Yet, we hear these things and then it just enters here and it passes out through here. Even the child wants to do something very something that could give the whole family liberation. We're not happy. I remember again on a particular occasion, as one lady brought a newborn baby to the temple, and she came to perform some type of samskara. So I just jokingly told the parents that, hey, this boy is going to be a brahmachari. And the mother said, Swamiji, please retract your statement. And she was so serious. I recall I retracted my statement. I said, all right, this boy is going to be with you for life. He's not going to be a brahmachari, don't worry. So we may like, people who are preaching, we may like the Paramahamsas. We may like the sannyasis, we may like brahmacharis, but are you ready to make the sacrifice? In your own family, are you ready to make the sacrifice? So, we have to be practical and understand that this life is so short, and human form of life is so precious, and we should not play around with our human form of life. It is important for us to understand that pada he vipadam. Any step we take in this material world, we could meet with dangers. And we are all responsible for the type of life we are living. Responsibility comes from two words: response and ability. We do have the ability to respond to situation. Look at the case of Narada Muni. He was cursed, but what was his response? Papa mentioned in the purport. He tolerated. That is where terms Titikshaswa Bharata comes to bear. But when we see someone that devotee being hurt, no, we should not tolerate. If someone hurts us, we should tolerate. If someone even curses us, we should tolerate. The question is, what if someone comes to commit a crime, or attempts to commit a crime against me? You should call the police. Don't take the laws into your hands. So, the bottom line is that Narada Muni, who is the best of Lord Brahma's sons, is being described here as sin personified. You see how to denigrate someone, to bring someone down based on envy, it could be so. terrible. Look at Narada, look at the exalted position of Narada Muni. So if someone curses us the next day, we should remember this story. We should remember this incident. We should remember it. These pastimes are not there just there for fun. Yes, when we read the pastimes, we hear about this discussion, we get purified. But they are also meant for our own self-application in addressing our own daily issues. Narada Muni was cursed, he tolerated. In other words, he was proactive. He was not reactive. I remember the case of the girl in California. I was in Laguna Beach for a Brahmanic program. So after the lecture, a gentleman came to me and said, he has an 8-year-old daughter, and one day he just came back from work. The girl did nothing. This was his own confession. The girl did nothing to him. He just started there raining all types of abuses on the girl. The girl just tolerated, 8 years old. So look at the case of Nada. But you know what? He did not bottle it. She did not bottle it up. If you bottle it, you're going to burst one day. If you bottle up, you're going to burst one day. The girl did not bottle up. She waited at the time that the father was very happy, and she was also very comfortable and happy. And then one day, she brought up the issue. Father was happy, she was happy, they were discussing. And then she said, Dad, you don't remember the other day? You came out from the office, and I did nothing to you. You know this. And you just rained all the abuses on me. Did you, 8 years old girl, 8 years old, not 38 years, 8 years old. She said, did you have any fight with someone in the office that day? Did you have fight with anyone in the office that day? The father was completely taken aback. He said, yes, I had a fight with someone. So the girl kept quiet. Apparently she understood what must have led to the situation. But when he told me this, I asked him to go call the girl. I just finished I just finished the talk. He told me and asked him to call the girl. So the girl came in and told him to pay this, and he said, I'm beggar. Because some of the kids we have, sometimes we think, because the tendency of the parents is to think, I am the controller, I am the Ishwara. Ishwara harm. I am in charge. And perhaps I am bogey. And maybe zero harm. And balance. This is sometimes the mentality of the parents. We like to control, undue control, and sometimes subjugate our words to a lot of mental torture. But this is not even a case of his child. A preacher. Narada Muni is a preacher. And so we have to understand that in our devotional environment, anyone could be used as a daksha. We should not be susceptible to the illusory energy to be used as daksha. We should not be susceptible to the illusory energy to imbibe a daksha mindset, daksha bhava. And therefore, we should think positively of how to facilitate even the needs of others to enhance their preaching projects instead of simply finding fault in them. We may find something that is faulty, but then we should ask ourselves, what do I do to rectify the situation? What do I do to help in this regard? Not that you take it and then you go into the streets and you say, you tell this person like this, or this person like this, or this person like this. How would I help in building strongly the mission of Srila Prabhupada? So here in Vrindavan, we have all come from different places, and when we come together like this, the bitter truths should be spoken, perhaps unpalatably. But when we meet people outside, we can speak the truth in a very palatable way and embellish it here and there. But the beauty of the Bhagavatam is that, like here in the pulpit, yes, we are committed to parents. Yes, we are committed to forefathers. Yes, we are committed to teachers. But if one is surrendered to Krishna, according to Bhagavatam, you don't owe anyone any debt. Debt is all liquidated. If you are surrendered to Krishna, your debts are liquidated. Debts to Father. Your father may quote this text of Daksha. I'm your father, you're supposed to produce children for me. And if you don't do this, you're violating devotional integrity. Because this is what this also says. Who said it? And you can pick any text in the Vedas and say, this was found in the Vedas. But who spoke it? Shukracharya also gave some teachings in the Vedas. Yes? In the Bhagavatam? So, the point is that we are all debtors. We're debtors to our parents if we are simply trying to gratify our senses. We're debtors to our forefathers. We are supposed to figure out ways on how to liberate them, especially those who have been put into the dungeon of hellish conditions. But as soon as one becomes involved in devotional service, serving in the mission of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu, you are exonerated from all types of debts. So don't be deceived. And how much they see the debts of the material world? How much can you serve your parents? And they will come and say, "Oh, you're just a wonderful boy, Oh, wonderful." No, the more you give, the more they want. And if you don't give one day, they say, "Hey, what's going on? Is it your wife that is telling you not to give us a child?" So, at some point in time, we should be able to resolve what is most ideal for our emancipation. And following the cues of the Shastra, we have to be able to channel our energies in such a way that we go for what is right, we go for the truth, and we develop the truth in devotional culture to be able to create a viable future. Because just one son, Papa said, could give light to the whole universe. How much can you work to be able to liberate 10 generations in your family? How much money? It's not money. Money does not give people liberation, When you have plenty of money, when you die, then there's so much of litigations. Your children start killing themselves. So someone has to be wise and liquidate all of the debts. Save the family. Do not take of life. Which you know like Daksha that. Now the money tried to help. And then, he became an offender. But we should have proper strategies. We should have proper strategies in trying to develop our spiritual future. Any comments or questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you. Maharaj, from the translation, it seems dicey to me in respect of the issue that has to do with liberating the issue that has to do with liberating the saintly persons, the depths we had. So sometimes I reflect on this. I do ask at what points, because sometimes there's some deficiency in fetus, and sometimes a child is born. Sometimes it does not stay long. He passes away. So many deficiencies. So many deficiencies, in times cause of death. So at what point this aspect is actually fulfilled, apart from taking to the aspect of devotional service?
What point you asking here in terms of death?
Yeah, the point I want to clarify is that the solution to rectify this debt is taking to devotional process. So there are some single times a child is being given death, but the child does not stay. And there are also some deficiency, like down.
Yeah, those are part of the recruiter, the family recruiter, individual recruiter, and the parents recruiter. In other words, is what we call karma, So because someone is born deaf, dumb, and blind, what has happened? Is he an innocent victim? No, he's not an innocent victim. People who are deficient of transcendental culture, or those who do not have the Vedic vision, they think that, oh, this is an innocent child. If that is God, how could this happen to him? I mean, it's like the case of this Massachusetts rabbi who wrote a book, why good things happen, why bad things happen to good people. He was a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi. And then he had a child. The child was infected with porphyria. Porphyria is a disease that turns a child, by the age of 15, is an old man and wins and dies. So he said, what? A rabbi. How can this happen to me? I'm a good guy. He wrote a book, and he speculated so much. But you know what? The book became one of the best sellers of his time. So when people are in ignorance, they don't really understand their left and right, although they may pose to be highly knowledgeable just because of their social status in the material world. And therefore, if a child is born, now, if it's in devotional culture, for instance, I remember a case, a 5-year-old child was diagnosed with a particular disease, and then the parents did everything possible, took him to the best of hospitals, and then the boy still died. And he's the only male child of the parents, one boy and one girl. So they were so upset, they were so angry. So they wrote a letter to the Guru Maharaj. Why this happened to us? Why must this happen to us? This is our only child. So the Guru wrote back to say, the boy has some few things to complete from the past life. He came now to finish up that, and he's gone. So, what happens to the child, we may not really figure out, except someone who has a very vision. But the essential thing is that we have to know, even to have a child is based on merit. It's due to pious activities, then someone may have a child in this lifetime. If someone was not very simple in previous lives, you may wind up not having a child. You may have sex every day, but you may not have a child. So this should be understood. And whatever access, human access we have, human resource as access we have, or in the form of kids, we should know this is Krishna's blessing. Someone may say it's a curse because it makes you entangled in the material world. Whatever you want to regard is up to you. But the bottom line is that if a child is born and is having some defects, and that is due to some recruiter. And except the child is able to develop spiritually and to facilitate the spiritual needs of the family. I mean, such a person is like a bed that is inappropriate. There's so many people on this planet. They're not even having any defects, but they're not worth living because their whole life is wasted for unnecessary things, because the whole purpose of the human life is to develop Krishna Prema. It's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Prema is our sole objective as human beings. If that goal is not achieved, then practically such an attempt to be a human being is wasted. So whether the child is a cripple or not, or has some defects, the important thing is what will the child do with the body? One may be born even as a child to the president of the country. But you are exposed to so much of sense gratification. You want to be born whole and hearty, very healthy. What do you do with your life? That's the problem. So we should not be so much worried about, a child having to be born with defects and all this stuff. We should be worried about, what do I do with my life right now to save the world? We should live in an emergency consciousness. Otherwise, we keep procrastinating. Tomorrow I'm going to chant 60 rounds. Next year I'm going to do that. Next year I'll start following all of Papa's regulative principles. Because in some places, people don't follow regulative principles, becomes like null and void. Unfortunately. But yeah, we travel. We see the good, we see the bad, we see the evil, we see the threats to human development, spiritual development. And so our concern should be what to do with my life right now. In other words, we have to live in an emergency consciousness. We are all on borrowed time. After discussion now, you may hear someone, Vasudev Swami is dead. He just gave a class this morning, huh? We have borrowed time, man. Oh yeah. Any other comments or questions? All right, so thank you very much. Yes.
Srimad. Thank you so much. I might be a little unclear. I'm just trying to put a lot of thoughts together. My point, my question is, on one hand we have these debts, and we gotta try clearing. Somehow it makes sense to the Varnashram system is made for us to evolve and clear these debts and maybe evolve to a higher. And on the other hand, we have direct Bhagavatam, which is surrender to Krishna. So one question is, if you're not successful in one, then you're not successful. You're stuck in the middle. And how does that work? And
I understand the point. And I mentioned that we should develop strategies. Developing strategies on how to achieve the goal entails, for instance, look, I found the strategy has been adopted by Randa Maharaj to be very, very intriguing, stimulating, and very intriguing to me, because it's a project that is based on planning for the future. Like you said, if this side fails, in other words, what is plan B? What is plan B? So yeah, and that is why, like, Rana Maharaj temples in Pune and in Chopati, he encourages his devotees, people who want to become full-time devotees, to acquire skills. So if you get one day you get tired of, I can't be brahmachari anymore, I need to develop a family. And then you have skills to be able to work with, to be able to, take care of yourself, and at the same time, get into the Varnashram system and integrate your secular activities with your devotional culture. Integration is a very difficult thing. If you don't have skills especially, you may even start cursing Krishna. But keep in mind that the halava that we offer to Krishna is not thrown from Krishna local. You have to go to the mall. You use your money to buy the ingredients, and you come and prepare it, and then you offer to Krishna. So if you don't strategize properly, like you mentioned, if this side fails, if you fail to be a brahmachari, do you fail your life? It shouldn't be that. Therefore, I mentioned about strategies. And practical strategies are being developed in our movement. In some of our temples, I give you striking examples of Chopati and Pune. And I met a number of these devotees who later became rehearsals from these very two centers, and they preach very vigorously. They preach very nicely. They don't get frustrated and say, now I cannot be brahmachari anymore, my life is finished. Life is not finished. No strategy means your life is finished. Strategize. I know some scientists in a movement, they have a policy. If you don't go to college and have a degree, don't come near me. Don't meet another person. I know some scientists who work like that. It is a matter of strategy, sustainable strategy. Sustainability here means you do something that does not interfere with the happiness of even a future generation. There should be some planning. If we just whimsically say we want to do this, we may hate ourselves. It's just like some people think, okay, I cannot be brahmachari, I feel so agitated, let me marry. There's a difference between getting married and being a grihastha. To be a grihastha is more difficult than being a brahmachari. To be a grihastha is more, if you want to marry is one thing, to be a grihastha is another thing. To be a grihastha is more difficult than being a brahmachari. And if you're a grihastha, you know what I mean. Srila Prabhupada,